All right. Today we're going to be looking at the fantasy weapons in Plasmator's weapon pack. This can be found on Nexus. The link is in the description. The one thing about this weapon pack is every class has armor. You can't take the armor off yet without going in and editing the save files, which if you want a tutorial on how to do that, just let me know in the comments below. Let's get into this. Beak Splitter. From what I can tell, it's essentially useless without using the HalfSword stance, which Plasmator does say in his README that there are several of these you do only want to use with HalfSword stance. So with no armor, it's okay. It can ragdoll, and I mean, you're basically guaranteed win with this thing. It is so powerful. Once you get to light armor, it's essentially the same. If you find a soft spot, the end almost every time. They don't ragdoll as easily, and you still have some blunt damage that you can work with if they have a helmet. So with heavy armor, you're basically looking for blunt damage or a lucky cut. In this sense, it's kind of like a greatsword. You just swing for the head. Now let's go to the brass bound thing. It's basically the end of a pole arm, but very large and very fun. It's really unique. So with no armor, if they don't have face armor, they don't have a face anymore. It's really a one shot. You can stab really easily also. It's definitely one that you have to be in HalfSword stance to use properly. So then with light armor, drive-bys are really effective. A lot of people in the light armor stages don't have a full helmet, so their face is just gone. Like my notes actually say in all caps, need face armor. Like you can just run up and shove it right in their face, the end. When it comes to heavy armor, it will throw you off balance, as you can see in this clip. Kind of funny, honestly, but the best way to win without this happening is the same thing, just drive by, get that blunt hit with a lot of momentum. You can also swing it pretty good, but I just recommend charging at them. Now let's move on to the Corpse Slasher. It feels like a heavier falchion, which it basically is. Without armor, every limb you touch gets chopped off. It's very powerful. At light armor, it's really easy to find the gaps, and legs chop off very easily. Most of the tiers of light armor has no leg armor. So in heavy armor, it seems too clumsy to be useful. It's really hard to get those head hits in because you would need multiple in a row to actually knock a fully armored knight out, or at least down. And now the Giant Slayer. It's basically a clumsier Corpse Slasher. It has a good cleave, but essentially everything that I talked about with Corpse Slasher applies here. Now the Great Bardiche. I really love this. It's a lot of fun to spin. You'll see a lot of clips here where I'm just spinning it and smacking them in the chest or the neck. It also has a pretty good stab, but there's not much that can be said about how well it does an overhead cleave. It just doesn't seem to do the split in half that I really wish it could do. And at no armor, it's basically a one-shot. This is really not a tier 1 through 3 or even like 1 through 5 type of weapon as far as balancing goes at all. Once you hit light armor, you can have a lot of fun with the spins, but it may take a bit to land some good solid shots unless you're already pretty good. It's definitely unwieldier than the base weapons like the halberd and the polearm with the axe head on it. At heavy armor, you can kind of use the tech, but mainly just half swording and swinging will guarantee a pretty good win. The Spike of Judgment. The Spike of Judgment is a two-handed rapier. It kind of has a bad swing. I am spoiled though, because I did find a good mod with a rapier that is very fun to swing. At no armor, it cuts like a tier 3 longsword. It also looks cooler, and the sword doesn't stick in the enemy as badly. So like if you're in Carnage, it'll slide right out and you won't have to ditch your weapon or risk getting hit in the back. And the HalfSword slash is very effective. With light armor, touching their neck makes them dead. That's about it. And it cuts hands off very well. The HalfSword is also still effective. It always hits neck height, and that's partially because all these fantasy classes are the giant character model. Like the character models that you see in Gauntlet with the bosses, how those are always bigger. That's the character model for all of these classes. At heavy armor, It doesn't have a basket hilt because I can't imagine how much work that would take to edit that for a mod, but it can still KO. That hilt can still knock him out. And HalfSword still kinda works. The Holy Cross. This is a huge sword, and you can definitely feel it when you get a good swing, but that does make it hard to control. Now, half-swording is where it really shines. It'll cut through most things like butter when you half-sword, and the crossguard can also do a decent amount of blunt damage. And I will say the stabbing is inconsistent. This thing really shines with light armor, because it's almost like with all the hits, whether it's overhead, whether it's you're going for the neck, whether it's half-swording, it always seems to be at the perfect height to where the light armor doesn't stop it or it just goes straight through. I cut a lot of people in half with this thing. So this thing's saving grace for heavy armor is a crossguard, since it still does blunt damage, because it's a bit too big to get a good combo to the head like you can with greatsword. And then Throne Bear. I only did no armor and heavy armor for this because it's just really, it's like the Holy Cross, but more unwieldy. It can't chop off a limb, but it does a lot of damage. Once you get to heavy armor, this thing frankly kind of sucks. It certainly has the weight to get a good heavy hit. The problem is it throws you off balance, and then half-swording isn't much better. Having said that, some of these I have said are hard to use and unwieldy. This is not a knock at all on Plasmator, as the HalfSword developers have had years and years to get weapons that are balanced in the hand properly, but the mods you find, these are just modders who know how to do Java coding really well. It's really hard to make custom weapons because a lot of them have to stem from already integrated weapons and they have to piece them together. The custom weapons that you find on Nexus, I can only imagine are going to get better and better as time goes on. They'll feel better and better, like the katana weapons I use, the rapier, the saber, ones I use in my shorts. Those ones feel great, and I can only imagine these will keep getting better. And here are a couple of braid stands that I recorded, but I couldn't really make them fit into this video. So enjoy these, and please leave a like, maybe subscribe. Have a good one.